Today we're doing an interview. This is Hendrix, my new German friend here in the amazing city of Da Nang, Vietnam. So, Hendrix, why don't you first off introduce yourself and tell us the basics about you?
Okay, I'm Hendrix. I'm a pensioner since early this year. I came to Vietnam in October. I'll stay the whole winter out of cold Germany, enjoy the sun here like we have today. Today, beautiful day in Da Nang. I have a small YouTube channel, so Wills is my big idol. I want to reach where he is, but not yet. My channel is just 3 months old, and I'm hanging out here. I'm taking it easy.
Do you want to tell everybody how old you are and how long you've been traveling for?
I'm 65 now. I did traveling when I was in my 20s and early 30s. Then I kind of settled down, and for a while I went back to my home country. I brought up a child. Now the child is adult and I'm traveling again.
Nice. So your home country is Germany, correct?
Right.
Big difference in traveling throughout Germany and throughout Asia or through the world. Can you maybe tell us some of the differences that you notice when you travel abroad outside of Germany?
Usually traveling abroad means for me Asia or South America, way more easy and cheaper, maybe not that clean, right? But you think of Germany, or many people tell me, oh yeah, Germany so efficient and fast and on time. Far from it. German trains, 9 out of 10 are delayed or canceled. It's a pain to travel. And it can be expensive. So if you ever go to Germany, buy your train ticket about 3-4 weeks in advance and you get a deal on it. If not, you pay an arm and a leg and don't expect the train to be on time.
But I would guess Germany is a lot more efficient than most of Southeast Asia overall.
Well, yeah, you know, the supermarkets are always stocked. We don't know power outages. We are still a first world country. But in some aspects we are lagging. Like, you don't have glass fiber everywhere. You know, lots of people in the country, they still struggle with the internet connection, with a copper cable. Like where I live, the last mile is copper cable. So it's only that fast that I can go with my internet connection at home.
What part of Germany do you live in?
Germany has 16 federal states. I live in the one that is most populated, North Rhine-Westphalia. It has about a quarter of the population of 80 million lives there. The capital is Düsseldorf and I'm living nearby.
When was your first trip and where was it in Southeast Asia?
I traveled 1982 to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka at that time didn't have a single mall or a bigger supermarket or anything assembling that what I was used to from back home. So that was a real culture shock. That was the first and basically only time where I really felt for the first week totally out of place and shocked. It took me a week or so to get my marks. Like you are living in some place, be it the US or Germany or elsewhere, and there are certain things, the kind of buildings, the kind of landmarks that you orientate you right now. I was in a place, there were only coconut trees. They all looked the same. After a couple of days, you get the gist of it, and I found the place all by myself. But the first couple of days, people took me by the hand like a little child and brought me home from the beach after dark.
And this is all before Google Maps, this is all before Grab, any kind of online anything basically, right?
No internet at that time.
No internet. So I'm sure there was some pros, I'm sure there was some cons. What were the biggest pros about traveling before, I guess you would call it the digital age?
People actually talked to you, and you didn't have a whole generation glued to their telephones. So if you want to see it as an advantage, in some countries, they saw a foreigner and they jump at you. Hey, what are you doing? Where you come from? And you had new friends every corner.
So give us an idea of what a monthly budget was traveling back in the early 80s compared to now.
In the mid 80s, I moved to Philippines. I lived there for 5 years. And if there was nothing out of the ordinary, like I was there, I was set up, I got my place, I got a girlfriend, and then I bought a motorcycle. It was a used one. I paid something like $750. And 5 years later, I sold it for $500. So I don't count that one. This is a one-time expenditure, and you maybe at one point I bought a TV set or a refrigerator or something like that. If you discount that, I was living with $300 a month.
Wow.
My rent was $30. My electric bill was $2.50. Mind you, at that time, no aircon. I had a refrigerator, a TV set, and a naked bulb hanging from the ceiling. That was my electric appliances.
What city was that in?
Cebu City. First time I've been there, Cebu City was a quiet provincial town. When I left in '91, it was already bustling. It didn't have all these high rises. It didn't have IT Park. It did had a couple of malls. No comparison to what they have today. So it's really in between beginning of the 90s to today. We're talking 30 years. They jumped at least a century.
Are any of you planning a trip to Da Nang in the next 60 days? Well, book a free 30-minute video consultation with me to get all the information you need to settle in smoothly. During this call, I'll provide personalized advice and answer any of the questions you have about traveling or living in Da Nang. So don't hesitate to book your free consultation today. The link is in the description below.
I always loved Thailand. I've been to Malaysia, so I was hanging out mostly in Penang, which is Chinese dominated. I've been in Singapore when it wasn't that outrageously expensive. I was in Indonesia. Now I traveled to Java. Didn't really get along with the mentality of the people there. I love Bali. Bali was dirt cheap then. What always put me off, that I don't know how it is today, you had absolutely to leave after 60 days. And you more or less had to take an airplane, which 30, 40 years ago was more expensive than it is today. Airline prices have gone down. So today, to do a visa run with a ticket going from A to B is no comparison to what it used to be earlier. So earlier, if you lived in a place and you had to do 6 visa runs a year and you had to use an airplane to go from A to B, that ripped into your budget.
How did you end up in Vietnam? More specifically, how did you end up here in Da Nang, Vietnam?
I was binge watching YouTube about information. The first choice would have been Thailand, but it's kind of hard to stay there 6 months. The aim was to stay out of Germany the whole winter, the whole period where it's cold, which is about 6 months. So first choice Thailand, because I know the language a little bit. I know the people, I get along with them. They have nice places, they have nice beaches, I like the food. But then I said, why not be a little bit more adventurous? Go to a place you've never been. I started watching YouTube content about Vietnam. I've heard about the people are nice, the cost of living is cheap. Then I was looking for places, and always Da Nang popped up. It's not as sticky hot as Ho Chi Minh. It does has a beach, it's directly on the coast. It's not as cold as Hanoi, and Hanoi doesn't have a beach either. That was one requirement, having a good climate, not too hot, not too cold, having a beach. And Da Nang checked these boxes.
Can you tell us maybe what you spend in a month living here in Da Nang, Vietnam?
Let's dissect that into 3 expenditures. There's once my apartment, which currently I pay about 170, or in US it's a bit more than euros, right? Let's be at $190. Then food, it's at least once a week I go for a more expensive foreign food, be it Greek or Japanese sushi or whatnot. The rest of the time I eat local. For example, my breakfast, I usually go to the same place. I have a rice soup with some meat and seafood in it that costs $1.50. So second food, let it be $150 a month. Then the third one is my massages. I get a massage for $8 for a full hour, full body massage, and I go every second day. 15 times 8, $120. That's my everyday expenditure.
Okay, so can you just quickly list off your 3 pros of living in Da Nang?
pro, number one, is the cost of living. It's incredibly cheap. Number two is the people are basically friendly. Number three, it is absolutely safe. I always say, in Thailand, I could leave my cell phone on the table and go to the toilet. In Da Nang, I actually do that.
Now, on the flip side, tell us the 3 cons of living in Da Nang, Vietnam.
All right. Number one, what bothers me is the visa run. You get a maximum of 90 days and the government chase you over the border, which I don't really see the reason why, but they do it. So if you want to stay 6 months, you have to do at least 1 visa run. Can be a pain in the butt. Plus that the application for e-visa, you forgot the dot on the I, you didn't cross 1 T, they reject it, your money is lost, you start all over again. That's really anal. I don't really understand why they are that way, but it's, you come here, you get the rules, you abide by it or you leave. So yeah, the visa. Number two, Vietnamese, as nice and friendly people they are, they're also pyromaniacs. They have this thing twice a month, like in the middle of the month and in the end of the month, they're burning a special paper. They want to soothe the ghosts of their ancestors or whatnot, and they love to let fire smolder. And then they have any kind of trash, or they prune their trees, and then they have leaves that are not really dry, and that stuff, when they burn it, it stinks. Even if this town is on the beach and it should have lots of fresh air, it stinks. If you're adaptive, you are the kind of guy that should come here and check it out if you want to travel. Now, if you're the kind of guy that needs safety net everywhere, you need everything clean, and you need everything orderly, I would reconsider.
So I've noticed you've been doing a lot of uploading on your YouTube channel. Can you briefly tell us the name of your YouTube channel and maybe tell us what your channel focuses on or what it's about?
My channel is just 3 months old. The name is Travel Hendrix, like Jimi Hendrix, just Travel Hendrix, 2 words. I do travel content, I do goofy stuff all around Da Nang. I have one video where I just ride a bike through the city. I have interviews. I try to bring to my viewers information about the city, about Vietnam. I'll have a little bit content about the food here and a couple things out of the ordinary.
In closing, what would you tell people that either haven't traveled to this part of the world or have never traveled? Do you have any advice to give people?
If you have any interest in seeing a place like Vietnam, I would advise you to come between now and the next year or 2, because things here change rather rapidly and mostly not for the better. That starts with the price. We all expect this place has kind of an inflation going on in the next couple of years, so you still want to enjoy low cost of living, come rather sooner than later. Come and see for yourself. You can watch all you want about travel content. It doesn't match what you're gonna experience, because you are you. You are different from other people. What you do, what you experience is gonna be different from any YouTuber that's telling you what things are here.
Okay, so if you guys are interested in Hendrix's travels and his adventures, I'm going to drop the link in the description. Please follow him and follow him on his adventures. Once again, thank you, Hendrix, for doing the interview with us.